Hello, parents and guardians, 6th and 7th grade students. So I thought I'd share with you some helpful resources that I'm sharing out for you to better prepare for your upcoming air test. I know this is something that causes a lot of us a little bit of stress, and I'm trying to help kind of alleviate that stress and make things a little bit easier on us, okay? So the first thing I want to show you is one of the documents that I'm sharing out to these students, okay? So these are the instructions for logging into the online air test practice site. This is something that students more than likely have done in brick and mortar. If your students are 7th graders, they definitely did it last year, possibly towards the end, around this time last year, so right around the time that we got sent home. So they should be familiar with it. If not, they've hopefully used it in elementary school, so they may be familiar with how to navigate, okay? So I'm not going to read through this entire document, but I do want to highlight a couple of things. I put some tips and bullet points for how to better prepare you for the test. And the reason why I did this is these are going to be things that are going to be expected of you when you actually come in and take your air test. So, you know, the way that you're taking this test is very particular. And this isn't Mrs. Vozar making up these crazy rules. These are rules that are sent down to us by the state of Ohio. So please don't think that I'm doing this just because I like to control every bit of your testing. This is something that the state of Ohio mandates us to do, okay? So approximately for each testing session for 6th and 7th grade ELA, you'll get about 120 minutes or 2 hours. 6th and 7th grade math, you'll get 90 minutes per testing session. And each of those tests are going to be divided up into 2 test sessions. So 6th grade ELA, we'll get 2 test sessions. At 7th grade ELA, we'll get 2 test sessions. 6th grade math and 7th grade math will each get 2 test sessions as well, okay? So I've given you instructions in addition to pictures with how to sign on to the testing website, and I went slide by slide as it looked on my end. So hopefully these instructions will be very helpful to you. But the one thing I really wanted to go over in detail, and unfortunately this is a little confusing, is the test score guide, or like the answer key for the test, okay? Because unfortunately, ODE makes us work for it a little bit, and they don't have nice printouts of like, oh, here's exactly what the test answers are. So it's a little bit complicated, okay? So when your student logs in and completes a practice test, something that I have them do, and I actually lay it out, I think in the second bullet point up here, is to have them write down their answers. The reason why I have them do this is because they don't have an online air practice site login. So they're just logging in as a guest, which means that their answers are not being saved on their device or up in the cloud, okay? They're just doing it for the sake of practice and for the sake of them getting ready to use their device to take their online air test, okay? But that's why we have them write their answers down. So I'm going to be walking you through how you're going to find those answer sections, those answer keys, okay? So I'm sharing out another document with you with the video that I'm making now. So right up here, you'll be able to have a link to the video so that you can replay this as many times as you want in case you miss something. But I also included this link for the Ohio Air Practice Test Score Guide. So if you click on this, it'll be directed to this site, okay? So right now, it already has English Language Arts selected. You can go through and select on math just as easy as English Language Arts, and a different thing will populate. But for right now, I'm going to stick with English because English is kind of my comfort zone, all right? So if you scroll down, you're going to pay attention to these words over here in bold, okay? So this is English Language Arts Practice Test Scoring Guide, okay? So even though your student has access to, I believe, 5 practice tests per subject, they're all given a different name, which is why it makes it confusing. So if they clicked on the practice test, this is where you're going to go for their answer key, okay? If they clicked on the spring 2016 English Language Arts released item, it's going to be one of these 2. So it depends on which test your student takes. Like I said, they have several available to them. They don't have the fall one available, but they have a lot of these spring ones available to them. And in my instructions, I recommended them trying a number of them, okay? So just to reiterate, the spring 2019 is going to be an option they can choose from, the spring 2018, the spring 2017, the spring 2016, and then the English Language Arts Practice Test Scoring Guide. So these are all going to be items that you can look at. Okay, let's say, for example, that my student who is a 6th grader took the spring 2016 practice test. In order to see their answer guide, I would find where it says spring 2016 and I'd click on grade 6. Then you're going to have this giant item load, okay? This is a 2016 release test that our students can be doing for practice. And if you scroll down, it actually is going to give you the answer and sample responses to questions 1 through 6 for this slide. Okay, so if you look on, what page is this? I guess 2. It gives us the number of the question, the item type, and what the answer key is. So it looks like for number 1, they had to just select one of the answers. They couldn't put down the A, B, C, or D. But number 2 was C, number 3 was C, number 4 was D, number 5 was a 2-part answer. Their answers are both C. So then you can actually look at what their answers were. You can keep scrolling, and you can see the stimulus that they used for questions 1 through 6, meaning the story that they actually used, okay? If you continue scrolling down a ways, because these item and scoring guides are quite bulky, especially if you decide to print them off. You will have a solid book or 2 in no time. But anyways, if we continue to scroll, that takes us through the end of that section of our scoring guide. So you can see one thing that they do really well is that they talk about what a great answer would be versus a not so great answer. So they talk about why their answers are incorrect. And whenever you see the rationale for option C and it says key, that key means that that was the correct answer. Okay. But if you just want a short and sweet answer to see, okay, did my student get it correctly? Then this can be found within the first few pages of each document. Okay. So we'll look at a different one. I think that was what, 2016? Yeah, that was 2016. So let's do, we'll do a more recent one. We'll do 2019 grade 7, okay? So I want to check and see what my 7th grader did on the 2019 practice test. I can scroll down. This one gives you 20 questions. I'm not sure why that first only gave us 6, but anyways, this one gave us 20, okay? So you can see the number, or the question number, and the answer that they gave. All right. And you can do that for all the questions. And again, same thing as they did last time, is you can scroll down and see the actual story that they read. And then you can also see the rationale behind some of these answers and why it's the best answer. Okay, so I thought that was easier just for me to explain than try to give you directions through text, because I think it's really, really confusing the way that they have some of these things organized. But I did want to let you know that that is available to you. And I will send this out on your student's message page. So if you do need a separate copy of it, all you have to do is email me and ask. So hopefully this helped you. If you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching.